Hello, it's Nova. I'm going to show you guys my top 10 mass market decks. This was crazy, let me tell you. This was absolutely crazy. Like, I'm standing here in my deck room, in my office, for literally 15 minutes and looking at all my mass market decks. Finally, I think I chose the absolute 10 that I would pick with me. This is about a tag. Let me start it like this. Let's start from the beginning. So this was a tag created by Rose Honey Ritual and Garden Goddess Tarot 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago. Many people participated. This is another version of the only 10 decks, but this time is about only 10 mass market decks. I had made a VR back then, 2 years ago, and I will link that in the description box. I think my choices are completely different. I did not go back and watch my previous video from 2 years ago because I did not want anything from that video to influence me. And I honestly don't really remember what I chose in that video. Anyways, this tag says if your house was on fire, if you could only grab 10 mass market decks out of your collection, which 10 would be? And I have added a little condition to it for myself. This means that I could never buy any of the decks that I have. So I'm picking 10 decks out of my huge collection, 10 mass market decks, and I can never buy any of the decks I have. Maybe I could buy other decks, but not the decks that I have. This condition helped me focus better. And also there is another rule to this tag. The OG decks are already a given, meaning the TOTS and the RWS are already a given and we don't have to include them in this video, which was a very clever thing to add to this tag. So apart from the OG, guys, these two are also OG for me, the Meriel Tarot and the Santa Muerte Tarot. So these two are for me considered OG. I would pick these two even if I had to choose only 2 decks out of my collection. So these two are also given. I put them aside and now I will start with my 10 mass market decks. It was hard enough, believe me. I have many mass market decks. I think I have something around 350 mass market decks here. And I love my collection. My collection is really a curated, very much loved and appreciated deck collection. So this was really hard. Anyways, the first one I want to show you, this is in no particular order. The first one I'm showing you is the Wildwood Tarot. These are the backs. And you have most probably seen this deck. Look at the mirror card, which is equivalent to the Hanged Man. And the Wanderer is equivalent to the Fool. Oh, this is in order. Great. Okay, I'm going to just keep it in order. The reason I would pick this one is that I am absolutely in love with the images and with the cardstock. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. Some of my reasons for picking these decks might look shallow to you guys, but to be very honest, it's all about these images for me and the cardstock. I just love this cardstock. I have not even read the guidebook properly. Like, this deck has a proper system. Let me put this one. So this deck has a proper system and you have to use a card per day. You have to start, like, you have to do a whole year thing. I'm not even sure what it is. I've done a lot of readings. And sometimes I just open the guidebook and read the page for the card that I have picked or the cards that I have picked. But I do not follow. I've never tried the system in the guidebook and I have never read the guidebook completely. I'm sure it's incredible. I never had the time, the time and dedication that this deck needs. Nevertheless, I would pick this deck because I am in love with its depiction, with the joy it gives me. Even though I do not know the system, it still reads really well. This deck really talks to my soul, and the fact that it has so many beautiful animals, and these animals and creatures have raw energy. The elements have raw energy. It's very raw and Celtic and magical. Shall I show you all the cards? I don't think so, because I think you have seen maybe all of these decks, maybe not some of them, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. So this was the first one. I don't have the guidebook or the box here with me because the box is huge. The illustrator is Will Worthington. The next one might surprise you. This one is a little animal deck, Animal and Angel Energy by Diana Cooper. It's called Archangel Animal Oracle Cards. Artwork by Marjolein Kruid, that's a Dutch name, published by Hay House, so it's written by Diana Cooper. It's a very simple Hay House deck, but I would definitely pick it because of the way I feel about this gorgeous animal oracle deck. Again, it's the way these images make me feel. It makes me so happy. So you have a combination of animal energy and archangel energy. Diana Cooper explains in the guidebook which archangels support which animals. Like all the birds are supported by Archangel Bokpi. Azrael, here it says, but I know all the birds are supported by Archangel Bokpi. She says Azrael too. It's explained in the guidebook. So you get the animal name and the image, and then a little phrase as a message. So for example, for tiger, it says, accept your magnificence. The supporting archangel is Archangel Raphael. And here for parrot, the card says, listen intently to understand. And the Archangel Bokpi. So I just love these images, and again, the cardstock. It might sound crazy to you, but I love this cardstock. It's glossy, it's quite thick. It's good for these images. Like these images are, I mean, this cardstock is the best choice for this type of imagery, I find. Look at this little guinea pig. Do your part to illuminate the universe. Archangel Mary. The choice of animals is really cool. I love animals. I love animal decks. This deck is accurate. It will surprise you how accurate it is. These phrases work really well. They blend in many different types of readings. It's done very cleverly. Again, another underrated deck. Very underrated oracle deck. Love this owl. Listen to the messages of the angels. Archangel Bokpi. Hyena. Dare to be different. Archangel Jophiel. And yeah, I would want to take this one with me. Out of, imagine, 350 incredible tarot and oracle deck, I would pick this one. That's how much I love this deck. That's how accurate it is as well. So here's the guidebook. Let me show you the guidebook. It's nice. It has about the animal, so you get a whole lot explanation about the animal, why they were chosen for this particular message, and then the guidance from the animal and the supporting archangel. It's a really nice concept. It's short and sweet, written well. I have edged it, as you see. I have this deck for many years. So happy with it. So this was the second one. The third deck is the JJ Swiss Tarot. My version is by AGM Urania. The OG version was published by US Game Systems in the 70s. And this version was restored by Stuart Copeland, as, yes, it says here. See? Copyright at 1970 by Stuart Copeland. So this is an old Swiss deck, and Stuart Copeland has restored it. This is mass market. And look at this. This deck is magical. First of all, I'm in love with the browns, with different shades of browns. It's primary colors basically mixed with a lot of beautiful browns, different hues and shades of browns, and that gives it such an authentic look. And I just love, absolutely love, the way this deck reads, the way it looks, the way it feels in my hands. I love it. It's so unique, it's so underrated. I cannot be without this deck. I pair it with everything. That's also a fun factor about it. I pair it with absolutely everything. Like, let me show you. I just had here the Archangel animal, right? Let me just show you how it pairs. You see, it just works. It just works. And it's really cool. I love her. You see? You can pair this tarot with anything you want. Other tarot decks, any style of artwork, other oracle decks, whatever you want. It has Jupiter and Juno instead of the High Priestess and Hierophant, which is another fun factor. Very underrated again. I mean, if you are able to read with pick decks, or if you are into Marseille or Italian decks, you should give this one a try. So I would definitely want to have my 1JJ Swiss deck with me. And that was the third deck. If you have it, let me know. Let me know what you think about this one. The fourth deck, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow Tarot by Nick Lawyer. He wrote the guidebook and he has done the illustrations. He's the illustrator of this incredible tarot deck, which was published by Schiffer Red Feather last year. I have edged it myself. These are the backs. I have worked with this deck many times. Very underrated. This deck surprises you. I noticed that this is a really good shadow work deck. But you can use it for any type of reading. I love this art style. These depictions, very intuitive. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a fall deck, in my opinion, but I like it so much that I used it the whole year long. Like, although I am very seasonal with my decks, and I use the decks, if any deck has a seasonal feeling, I can only use it in that season. But this one is an exception to the rule. I feel very, very close to this deck, like a close friend. She understands me. And I love the cardstock. They're so matte. I'm so happy with this deck. I really recommend it, guys. Look at this Three of Cups. Yeah, for sure. Like, picking this deck was easy. So this was the fourth pick. Let me show you the guidebook as well. The guidebook is very short and sweet. but it's cool. Like, I like the write-ups. And if you have seen the movie, it helps. But if you even have not seen the movie, it's still a great, super powerful, very underrated tarot. The fifth deck is the Golden Tarot of Marseille. So this is a Claude Bourdelle restoration. This was published by Los Scarabeo. Published by Los Scarabeo a few years ago. There is something about this deck. I love the way it shuffles. It's a used deck, you know, I've used it and it becomes, after use, you know, some decks, after using, they become so delicious. The tactile experience is so good. Love the backs. Love the gold. It's just done the right way, you know. I would never think this gold foiling will work for a Marseille deck, but it works so well. It was published in 2017 and it is still available. Look at these two. It's still available on Amazon all over the world. I recommend it. I love the cream color on the borders. This is one of those decks that looks and feels so much better than what you see in the camera. Like, I used to look at it in the camera and I was like, okay, it's nothing special about it. It's nice that like it's different with this gold in it, but there's nothing special about this deck. But I decided to buy it because Masha was talking about it a lot and I really respect her opinion. So I thought to myself, let me give it a try, and oh my god, I'm so happy I did that. Like, all these Marseille colors, like this pink that you see here, and the yellow, the reds and the blues and the greens, they look so well in this gold background with these cream borders. It's just something about this deck, you know. Even the white beard, somehow the design is very special. This whole combination of these colors with, like, look at this, these colors with the gold was very successful. I think it has even surprised the creators of this deck when it was released. It's just a lot of joy working with this deck for me. A lot of joy. Like, whenever I want to feel, just really feel good for holding a deck in my hands and shuffling it and working with it, I think about this one. All right, I have 5 left. Oracle of the Radiant Sun by Carolyn Smith and John Astrop. Astrology cards to illuminate your life. This was published by Red Feather many years ago. And so this is the guidebook. These are the backs. This is the suit of moon, as you see. So there are the 7 planets are in different suits, as you see. And this is a traditional astrology. So you have 7 planets, including sun and the moon. You have all the zodiac signs in each planet, basically, right? And then the guidebook explains about the combination of these energies and gives you a keyword for it. For example, Aries in the sun, the combination of these 2 energies will create assertion. And that makes a lot of sense, especially if you read the guidebook. And also the cards are designed in such a clever way. When you pay attention to everything in the cards and you read the guidebook, so much knowledge is revealed to you. There's a lot of symbolism in the cards. I love the depictions and the color palette. The cards of each suit are numbered, starting from the first zodiac sign, which is Aries, to the last one, which is Pisces. So you have 12 cards per suit. So there is a whole system. You can learn so much from this deck and this guidebook, but in such a sweet way. Like, it's sweet. It's a joy reading this guidebook, really. And it pairs with my Marseille decks, with my old Italian decks. I have a lot of old style Italian and French, European tarots, and this deck works so well with them. So that was the sixth one. The seventh one is the William Blake Tarot of the Creative Imagination by Ed Byrne, another Schiffer Publishing creation. This is a very underrated tarot as well. I love everything about this deck. I love the box. I love the green. The card size, the card stock. So the cards are larger than your standard tarot cards. Like, do I even have a standard tarot card? Yeah. Look. It's this much bigger, but I like it. There is again a whole system here. Here you have balance, 2 of painting, which is 2 of cups, and then you have hardship, 5 of painting, which is 5 of cups. The magician. And for number 5, for the Hierophant, you have religion. I love the imagery, the poetry. This is the poetry of William Blake. The images are also William Blake's paintings, but Ed Byrne has retouched the paintings. Like, he has changed the colors a little bit. He has brightened up the paintings, and he has done an amazing job. Although I like the original paintings a lot better, to be honest. But this is still I really appreciated that it's in a tarot form. And the whole design of the cards is really cool. You have these borders. So you have, for the suit of cups, which is suit of painting here, you have water borders, and the suit of poetry is the suit of earth with flowers as borders around the cards. The poetry that is chosen is really cool. Like here, for 2 of poetry, it says, every man's wisdom is peculiar to his own individuality. Yeah, it's a precious tarot, and it reads surprisingly well. It makes sense. The images make sense. I love the borders. That immediately brings you the feeling, the vibe of the element. The guidebook is amazing. I love the cardstock. It's so matte. Just the right thickness as well. I think these images really deserved this large cardstock. I think many tarot and oracle decks are too small for the gorgeous art that is on the cards. But yeah, I would definitely grab this one. I can't be without this deck, especially because it reads in such a clever way. It makes sense. Like, every time I do a reading with it, I have an aha moment from the depictions and reading the poetry and reading the guidebook. Every single time I have an aha moment. I want that. That is precious by itself. So this was number 7. Let me know if you have this deck, guys. And what do you think about it? Would you pick it as your top 10 mass market deck? Number 8. Dirt Gem Plant Oracle Deck and Guidebook by Anne-Louise Burdett, illustrated by Chelsea Granger. This deck used to be indie, and then RP Studio published it mass market. It was released a few months ago. Look at this production. I just love everything about this gorgeous tarot. The production quality is insane, especially for the price. I mean, I bought it at a more expensive price because I bought it the moment it was released, but then like a month after that it dropped dramatically, so now it's like $20 on Amazon. I love the cardstock. It's on the thicker side, a little bit thicker than your usual normal standard cardstock for mass market decks. A little bit thicker. It's very matte. I love these depictions. Very thought-provoking, and I love the style. I love the colors. It's just a shame that it doesn't have keywords. There are only the names of the plants. It's a plant deck. But I'm okay with it. I opened the guidebook. I will learn something. You know, if there was also a keyword, the chance that I would open the guidebook every time and read the write-ups for each card would have been a lot less. Now I have to open the guidebook. So every time I learn something. I just love it. I love the matte dark gold borders. Look at these bags. The guidebook is so poetic. There are some black and white cards. I just really like everything about it. It makes me happy. And it really works. Like, it helps your reading. It elevates your reading. It adds layers to a tarot deck, to a tarot reading. And it pairs well because of its art style and color palette. It pairs easily with so many different decks. I love plant decks. And it has many cards. How many cards? I think 60 something. 65. It has 65 cards. These are the creators. How sweet. So this is the guidebook. You get one full page per card. As I said, it's written so well, so beautifully and artistically. Yeah. This would definitely be one of the 10 decks that I would pick. Next is the Star Tarot by Kathy McClelland and published by Schiffer Red Feather a few years ago. This is the second edition. The first edition was glossy. This is a huge box, by the way. The first edition was glossy. The second edition is matte. These are the bags. This is larger than your standard tarot, like this much. It comes edged in gold gilding. I am in love with the images. And they are celestial yet earthy. That's another thing that I really like about this deck. They are celestial yet earthy. And it is just very close to my soul. I think I'm a starseed. I'm quite sure I'm a starseed for many reasons. One of the reasons is that I knew it ever since I was a child. I didn't know what a starseed is, but I always felt that I'm coming from the other galaxies. You know, I always had that. I was really young, like I was 4 or 5 years old. I was sure of that I'm coming from other galaxies. And I never felt a bond to Earth or wanting to live on Earth. I always felt like I wanted to go back. Anyways, that's a whole other story, but this deck speaks my language. It's like if you wanted to bring how I felt when I was a child, and I still feel, If you wanted to translate it into a tarot deck, it would become this. So you can imagine how meaningful and important this deck is to me. And I only do personal readings with it. I could not read with this deck for anyone else. And I just love the depictions as well. I think they're gorgeous and they're brilliant. And the thought influence is also really cool. I'm so happy. This deck is so important to me. This is one of those. The moment I thought of 10 mass market decks, this one came to my mind. Like, I picked the first 5 decks quickly and then I had to think about the other 5 for 15 minutes. But yeah, for sure I would pick this one. I love this devil card. I love every single card in this deck. Absolutely every single one of them. So layered and meaningful, full of symbolism and outside the box. Oh, it's incredible. The symbolism is incredible. I don't know, this deck reminds me, it's like nostalgic. It takes me back to a place that I have seen only in my dreams. Let me show you the guidebook. The guidebook is also incredible. Incredible. I mean, the amount of information here, precious information. The 5, emergence of human conscious. And then you get 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups, 5 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles. The way it's written around numerology and elements and the esoteric information in this deck. The last one. For the last one, I picked the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. Although, let me just tell you, I feel bad not mentioning this, guys. Let me just mention this one as well. I had to think about this one for a long time. Like, I was 2 of Swords between the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck and the Wild Unknown Alchemy deck and guidebook by Kim Krantz, because this one is also awesome. This deck teaches you so much. Teaches you to read in a completely different way. And I love the depictions and everything. I'm not gonna show you guys because I want to stick to the rules a little bit. I already cheated at the beginning of the video, so I'm just going to show you this one, the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck, a 52 card oracle and guidebook by Nikki DeWart and Elizabeth Marglin, illustrated by Jenny Kostecki Shaw. This deck was published in 2022 by Shambhala Publications. Let me tell you why I chose this one out of maybe something like 250 mass market oracle decks that are in my collection. Let me tell you why. This gorgeous little deck has everything. These are the backs. I have edged it myself. The cozy factor, just look at it for yourself. The cozy factor is there very strongly. I love the color palette. I love these images. Like, I really like the art style. It's a hug deck, but it's a very intelligent hug deck, and I really appreciate that. The imagery speaks to you, especially if you read the guidebook. This deck has a system. It has 4 suits, and these suits are basically different aspects of feminine energy. So this deck introduces many different aspects, different concepts in each of these 4 suits. It hugs you in a more rational way. You know, it speaks to your heart and it speaks to your brains as well. As I said, it makes sense. Very clever, very soothing. For most of us, I mean, for me, it's like that, and I'm sure for a lot of you, it is the same. I cannot just have a hug deck that is just sweet. Maybe sometimes I can, just for fun, but it doesn't have the same impact as a deck like this, that it's very sweet, but it really makes sense. Like, the message is so well explained and rationalized, you know. So you have deities here. You have the wild feminine is this suit with hummingbird and other animals, whale. So you get a title for each card and a keyword. It teaches you a lot. Love the cardstock. It's very sturdy but very soft and flexible, high quality. The guidebook has everything. It's a perfect guidebook. It has so many layouts and spreads, quite a few. Explains how to use this deck. And then the suit, so you have the wild feminine is the first suit. Here you have butterfly, the keyword is transformation. The shadow is resistance, so you get a shadow for the keyword. And then you have a quote from a famous person, and then it explains in 2 pages about the concepts. It gives you a message. So you have deer, the keyword is gentleness, the shadow is force. Dolphin, the keyword is embodiment, the shadow is disconnection. Horse, freedom, shadow is recklessness. And some of the shadows are also very interesting. Awareness, the shadow is consciousness for owl. Magic, the shadow is manipulation. Life force, shadow is depletion. And look at this image. It's really good. And then you have the elemental feminine suit. So here you have cave, keyword is receptivity, and shadow is defensiveness. Desert, solitude, shadow is loneliness. So on and so forth. And then you have the archetypal feminine. So here you have bodhisattva, awakening, shadow is selfishness. Curandera, healing, shadow is woundedness. Look at the image for curandera. This card has came out for me a few times in a perfect moment. I really appreciate this deck because of the way I feel about it, because of the way it has communicated with me above everything else. Then you have divine feminine. So here you have basically deities, Amaterasu, beauty, shadow is perfection. Artemis, untamed, shadow is domesticated. Bridget, Inanna. So here you have the deities, and there are so many ways you can work with this gorgeous deck. I definitely recommend it, although it was on a more expensive side. I think it was 38 euros when I bought it, but I have no regrets. I really treasure this deck. So guys, this was it. This was my video. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end. I really thank you for your comments, for your support. It really means the world to me. I really feel like I'm talking with my friends now when I'm making these videos. And to the ones who usually put your comments under my videos, I really feel close to you. I really thank you. I think this is a natural process for a lot of people. I'm quite sure many YouTubers feel the same type of bond with their audience, especially the ones who write comments. As you see, I always read all the comments. I always reply to every single one of them. And I am very appreciative for your presence. Take good care of yourself and hope to see you in the next one.